Robots will eat some jobs. Some robots will kill humans. But when you look at the trend as a whole, I think it's going to be incredibly positive for humanity. People talk about sort of self-driving trucks and the impact that's going to have on jobs, and that's true. But what they don't talk about is all of the white-collar work that AI is going to do. All repetitive human work that doesn't require the deep emotional connection between two people. That will all be done in the next couple of decades, better, cheaper, faster by AI. That is somehow left out of the conversation. It's always about factory robots, self-driving cars. There's a big debate about time frame. I think it takes like unique human arrogance to believe that AI cannot supersede humans. I think we have an opportunity that comes along only every couple of centuries to redo the socioeconomic contract. How we include everybody in that and make everybody a winner, and how we don't destroy ourselves in the process is a huge question. The social inequality we have today is nothing compared to what we could have. But I think we do have an opportunity to think about how we can get towards a more equal world. We're going to have an opportunity to push the reset button, think about the world we want. And I think universal basic income is one part of that. How we give universal basic meaning. We'll have plenty of resources for everyone. How do we make everyone happy and fulfilled and find their purpose? We get to find out.
Living in this big blue world with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. Hey little lady, I know you're feeling crazy. All your other friends are busy making them babies. Been out in the real world, don't like how it's tasting.
Seeing a driverless electric truck navigate a maze of fine china is great, but building the infrastructure for autonomous electric trucks to start being more widely used requires something more. That more is exactly what a company called Einride is focused on. In addition to developing its own vehicles, the company is also creating the support system for autonomous electric shipping. We spoke to the company's CEO to learn all about it. Let's check it out. Einride is a Swedish transportation company, which already has its cableless electric autonomous vehicles operating on public roads, including some in the US. And it claims to be the first company to have achieved that milestone. Einride's latest autonomous vehicle is their Gen 2, which utilizes LiDAR, cameras, and satellites to navigate. They're already driving in enclosed areas on preset routes, with the potential to include public roads in their routes in the future. The Gen 2 also noticeably doesn't have any cab for a driver to sit in. Instead, Einride has created a remote operator station where someone could potentially supervise multiple autonomous vehicles at a time. If a truck needs support, it will notify the operator, who has the ability to provide instructions that the truck will execute.
We have been scaling commercial applications in our transport capacity gain since 2020. We are starting to get fairly big applications now. So we are flying hundreds of vehicles in this year. Overall, it's a scaling game from here.
Einride's website claims an average reduction of 95% CO2 equivalent when switching from diesel. CO2 equivalent is basically just a metric that includes other greenhouse gases, such as methane, by converting their warming potential into the equivalent amount of carbon dioxide. Einride hopes that by combining the economic benefits of autonomous driving with electric trucking, it can make a compelling business case for companies to want to move their logistics to Einride's grids.
Autonomous electric and digital is the future. And I mean, 30–40% of the global transport industry should be deployed with that technology, driven by a business case.
这个半径为这样圆心的这样的一个服务圈来说的话，平时的话，我们基本上正常的地面配送在30分钟左右，但是我们这个基本上我们现在的配送的时效基本在15分钟左右。
This is a grocery packing warehouse in the southeast of London. Folks have ordered their groceries online, and instead of people walking up and down the aisles of a traditional grocery store to pick up items, these little devices move more than 1 million items every day between them. Instead of trying to build machines that fit into a world designed for humans, this entire facility, the size of 7 football fields, is custom built to make this as efficient as possible. I cannot get across on camera just how incredibly large this whole place is. The top speed of those boxes is about 14 kilometers an hour, and they pass within 5 millimeters of each other when they move. So, how many robots are there in the hive? Well, that depends on how you count them.
What you're looking at behind me is the hive. We've got the grid, which is the metal structure. It's filled with products. So that product is housed within what we call totes, or these open boxes that you can see at the top of the grid. We have around 2,300 bots, and they move the stock around the warehouse so that we can pair it up with customer orders to be delivered. The bots will move in the X and Y direction. They can also move in the Z direction. So we have a cable hoist system that means that they can lower down a gripper assembly and grab onto the stock that we have in the grid. In some areas we have as deep as 21 totes all in a line. We have sensors underneath the bot that mean that every time it passes over one of the squares on the grid, it has a laser underneath it that can tell when it moves over that cell. So it will say, I've passed a cell, I've passed a cell, I've passed a cell. We have around 58,000 different types of individual products within the grid. We'll use the huge amounts of data that we gather to understand what customers are most likely to order and place them in the easiest to reach locations for bots. All of that combined means that we can have stock into the warehouse and out again from our suppliers into a delivery van in just 5 hours.
The robots deliver their crates over to the packing area. Some of that packing is done by humans, but there are mechanical arms as well. One of the big problems they've got to solve is that grocery packaging is designed for people, and the interactions between all the objects they deal with can be complicated.
Meet Digit, the robot built by Agility Robotics and backed by Amazon. Amazon will begin deploying 10,000 of these fully autonomous robots per year into their warehouses. These robots are literally designed to replace human workers, have already been tested, approved, and green-lit to begin.
I mean, this is the thing, right? As a tech correspondent for years, I've had companies tell me, well, this technology is for augmenting a human or making a human's job a little bit easier. In this case, it is truly, right, out and out there to replace a human worker. Amazon warehouse workers, that's one of the largest employers in America. People really go for that job. And so, we're really, I think, at this sort of historic turning point where suddenly it's no longer the case of when could technology replace a set of jobs, but this is truly something that's built to do that.
Digit is a robot that is ready for work, a pragmatic tool designed to be useful in the world, to go where we go, work on our terms, do useful things, and interact naturally with us, a safe and friendly robot partner to the human workforce. Our vision, our dream, is to build robots that free us from robotic tasks, that enable humans to be more human. And everything we've built, every breakthrough, is part of the journey towards that goal. And that's where Digit is going. Digit is made for work.
My prediction is that Tesla's majority of long-term value will be Optimus. Actual demand for something like Optimus, if it really works, which it will, is 10 billion units. It's some crazy number. It might be 20 billion units. It's some very big number is what I'm saying, and a number vastly in excess of the number of cars.
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Great. So, based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Of course.
Is an agricultural automation system that would work together with humans instead of replacing them possible? As the world's population continues to soar, the challenge of feeding everyone becomes more complex. Enter the collaboration between humans and agricultural automation robots, a partnership set to redefine farming. Andrea Gaspari, who has been working on his system for nearly 3 years, explains it this way.
This project is about developing a paradigm for having multi-robot system collaborating with humans in a precision agricultural settings. We are considering table grape vineyards as a case study, and as you can see here, there are a few robots that can move around. Some of them will be exchanging some boxes, some other will be performing several operations such as harvesting and pruning. Those are the kind of operations we are dealing with.
Agricultural automation robots, designed with precision and efficiency in mind, are revolutionizing tasks from planting seeds to harvesting crops. This heightened accuracy isn't merely about speeding up processes. It's about optimizing resources, minimizing waste, and ensuring a consistent and increased yield. But even as these robots display their prowess in the fields, it's vital to remember that farming is not just about the mechanics. The blending of human knowledge with robot efficiency holds an economic promise as well.
We got a tour of a new vertical farming facility in Compton, California to learn about the potential benefits of growing food in towers rather than fields and the technological innovations required to make it happen. Let's check it out. With the world's food supply under threat from climate change, extreme weather events, not to mention the agriculture industry's need for scarce land and water resources, a company called Plenty believes it's developed a compelling alternative.
We're providing another option for humanity to safeguard the food supply, to safeguard nutrition, to safeguard things that agriculture has historically provided that are maybe taken for granted, but probably won't be taken for granted for a whole lot longer.
Plenty's vertically grown food is less dependent on environmental factors due to being grown indoors, and since Plenty's produce can be grown closer to where it is to be consumed, it could cut down on the energy cost of transporting food. The vertical farming system also allows plants to be grown in areas or in times of year when they might not otherwise be available. The entire life cycle of the plant, from seeding to harvesting, is contained within Plenty's Compton, California farm. Robotic systems and conveyor belts shuttle the plants from one destination to another, monitored by a team of workers in PPE to keep everything up to sanitary standards. Each plant's journey starts here, where seeds are planted in trays and provided with the proper water and nutrient mix to give them a start. Then they're sent to the propagation room, where they're given warmer, more humid conditions to encourage them to sprout. Then they're transplanted into the towers and moved off to the grow rooms, where they reach full maturity under the glow of Plenty's very own proprietary lighting system.
You know, the team has done a tremendous job at putting together these lights that point sideways. Basically, they're not overhead, they point sideways. It's integrated with ventilation systems, and it contains kind of a spectrum that we developed in-house.
To protect the luminescent IP, I wasn't able to film the lights except through a window that had a tint on it that distorted the spectrum.
They drive photosynthesis very efficiently. They also have programming effects on the plant, so we can tell the plant what to do with the spectrum. The lights are kind of a relatively simple looking thing, but they're the culmination of a lot of R&D, an awful lot of work to figure out the optimal way to talk to plants with energy.
Of course, the sun shines free, but indoor farming requires not just nourishing lights, but extra energy to power them. Plenty gets its power from the grid, and makes special consideration to build its farms in areas where the supply of renewables is significant or set to grow in the future.
It's an exciting time to be in an industry that uses a lot of power. I really view what we're doing as the marriage of two technology-driven industries. One is, the vertical farming of the indoor farming industry, and the other one is renewable energy. A great thing to do is to see, supply coming online and meet it with demand. And so that's really, I think, the role that we play.
When harvest time comes, the plants move along the conveyance system to this big yellow robot arm, which loads the towers into the harvester. As the tower rolls through, blades slice off the greens and they enter the quality control, packaging, and distribution side of things. Quality control happens here with a blue light and a computer vision system that keeps an eye out for any damaged or discolored leaves and uses puffs of air to knock them out of the flow of healthy greens. Plenty's produce is available in some partner stores like Whole Foods, Bristol Farms, and Walmart.
Walmart is one of our partners, right? If you walk into a Walmart, you'll find product that we've grown on the shelf, and it's priced at kind of the average organic pricing.
Next, Plenty has its sights set on vertical strawberry and tomato farms, with the possibility of even more applications for this vertical farming tech in the future.
There's an opportunity to use these farms that almost perform like biological factories in a way, right? To produce things that have never been produced before. Whether those are, ingredients and novel proteins and all sorts of neat stuff that we can grow in a plant that just historically we haven't been able to do.
Plenty's foods are labeled pesticide-free, which Plenty reps say is beyond organic because organic produce can still include the use of some pesticides. I got to try some of Plenty's greens and I found them to be quite fresh and enjoyable.
They have dough, tomato sauce, cheese and toppings, just like the ordinary pizzas. But these ones are made by a very special baker, Patsy, the world's first autonomous pizza robot. Co-founder Sébastien Roverseau and his team spent over 7 years developing the project, investing millions of euros. The aim was consistent quality with less staff. The robot in Paris can handle nearly everything alone. Customers place orders on their smartphones or via a terminal. The employees are only there to provide personal contact. Time to get baking. First, the robot makes the crust out of fresh dough. Then it adds the tomato sauce. The robot cannot cut up the ingredients for the toppings itself. Once the pizza is ready, it goes into the oven. It's then slipped into a box and cut into slices. After less than 5 minutes, customers can pick up the finished pizza from a window.
Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California. That's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots. We sent CBS's Joy Benedict on a taste test.
Flippy the chef makes Spud spectacular. This automated grill gives the meat its sizzle as this restaurant goes robotic.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too.
A cheeseburger.
Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember you, your favorite food, and how you like to pay. Then watch the robots work. No humans required.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills and their dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues.
This home was 3D printed out of 100% bio-based materials and can be recycled at the end of its life. It's called the BioHome 3D. Both the materials and the construction process were developed by researchers from the University of Maine. The result is this 600 square foot prototype located on a foundation near the university's Advanced Structures and Composites Center. The floors, walls, and roof are all made using the world's largest polymer 3D printer, which produced the world's largest 3D printed boat back in 2019. We've covered a lot of 3D printed and prefabricated housing solutions here on What the Future.
Right behind me is the Volferta E5 model with a balcony. It measures 8.5 meters in length, 3.2 meters in width, and 3.2 meters in height. It features 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a balcony, totaling 27.2 square meters. Let's start by taking a look at the materials. The main frame of the space capsule house is made of galvanized steel, a particularly sturdy aluminum alloy. Some customers might have concerns about its wind and seismic resistance, but rest assured, the entire space capsule house weighs 7.2 tons. Now, let's move to the back of the space capsule. In this area, two sets 1.5 horsepower air conditioner and 1 water heater. This is where the electrical and plumbing connections are made. Now, let's step inside the space capsule house. Here we have a smart door lock. Once you step inside, you'll notice that the interior is quite spacious. Wow! Over here we have a large bedroom. And this area is the bathroom, complete with a toilet and a shower. There's a wash basin and a mirror here. The brightness of the mirror can be adjusted. Take a look at this small bar counter, perfect for enjoying a cup of coffee and having a chat. Moving on to the bedroom, you'll find a king-size bed. Measuring 1.8 meters, the bedroom is equipped with a projector and motorized curtains. And on this side, there's a generous balcony, 1.2 meters wide. It's a great spot to relax with friends over a cup of tea and a chat.